Peace, family. So I'm back with another one. Today what I wanted to do is I wanted to talk to my chosen ones about how they intentionally avoid and not answer questions. And they'll zip right past the statement that you make and not give you any response pertaining to the statement that you make. A lot of this poor, bad, wishy-washy communication has to deal with, one, they're using the opposition playbook. And then for two, they're using the opposition playbook. And they're also having to control the narrative, the dialogue, the conversation. If you haven't realized, like, a lot of these beings who use the witchy playbook, control is like the top two traits, qualities, whatever word you want to use that feels better to you, because you can use your feelings, you know. So I'm not one of the people that be like, oh no, you don't use it. It's helping you create a better picture on the inside. So we use our feelings to navigate this physical realm. So that's why I use the statement feel. Whatever one feels better to you. But a lot of these people and beings out here are really bad at communicating. Really based on control and really set on maintaining their narrative. You know, when you are in this space of understanding what's happening out here right now, you've been working on yourself and working on other beings. I don't always like to say just working on self, because sometimes working on self, the best way for you to work on yourself is around other beings. So for me, small example, certain things that I want to work on, it's easier for me to work on with my mini. I'll just use her as an example. With my daughter. So it's easier for me to work on 1, 2, 3 with her right here. When she's not right there, it makes it a little bit more trickier to work on those, because I don't have an actual physical vessel for me to work on. So what I mean by that is like, when you working on self, most of the time when it comes to working on self, you're trying to figure out how to master your emotions. You're not going to rile yourself up by yourself. So it's only but so much you can work on by yourself. If you want to learn how to communicate, you need other people in order to communicate with. I had did a little Instagram reel about this, you know. The way that these beings are manipulating the conversations that we have, the way they control the narratives, you know, it almost makes you feel like you're a smaller, lesser being. And a lot of the times you gotta understand, like, they use these tactics because that's how they feel. Constantly. It's like a suffering space that they're in. So when they can confuse other people, when they can control the narratives and quote unquote feel needed or wanted, and they're not actually needed or wanted. We all humans to a degree. And we want to feel needed and wanted. So I won't look at those two as a downside, because I need my daughter and I want my daughter. It's that simple. I'm not going to sit here and fake the funk like, yeah, well, I want my daughter, but I don't need her because I'm a grown man and I can do these things without her. I don't give a fuck about none of that. That's my heart right there. That's my blood. You know what I'm saying? And for the ones that's around me that don't got the same blood as me, we share that same spiritual space. You know? You have to be extremely direct and sometimes repetitive when you out communicating, engaging with some of these beings. Because their intentions are to keep you confused and lost, because that's the space they're in. They know this space of confusion and an unhealthy side of uncertainty, because you'll get uncertainty when you're time traveling to the future, because you haven't been to all those spaces and you don't have all the answers. So some things will be uncertain. What I usually have to do when I'm communicating with people and I realize like they're trying to control the narrative, how you'll know if somebody's controlling the narrative is if they're leading the conversation and you're listening intently, and you're responding to the words that they're choosing to use, because they choose to use those words to represent whatever it is they're trying to express outwardly. So when you allow them to lead the communication, right? Because maybe I just starting off conversation, or you really want to know, you're an attentive, empathetic person. You like to engage with people. You don't like people to feel like they don't matter. So you pay attention, right? They'll control the conversation. But the minute you have another question, or you want to turn the conversation in another way, that's when they go to this avoidance, or they just act like it didn't even exist, or it was not said. So you took the time to put these words together to express inwardly, outwardly to this being, whatever it may be, and they disregard it. When they disregard, don't allow your energy and emotion to punch them in the face. Don't allow your energy and emotion to make you go sit in the corner like you in timeout. Stand on your 2 feet and reiterate what you just said, either the exact same way, or use different words to elaborate without responding to how they just ignored it. I had to practice and start using these tactics, because it's hard getting anywhere in a conversation or getting answers out of somebody and they're continuously dancing. It's like you'd be like, hey, it's time to eat. You telling your little ones or your people, your family, I don't give a damn who it is, you tell them, hey, it's time to eat. But instead of them coming to the food, eating, you done fixed the place, got the table set out and everything. Instead of them coming over there, sit down to eat and bringing that live energy with them, they gonna keep on dancing, and moving around and doing whatever it is they was doing to make it more difficult for you. So then you find yourself reiterating to, hey, come to the table, come sit down. Hey, stop dancing, come over here and sit down. When people start doing these things and using these tactics, you have to understand, like, their space is foggy and confused. So they're just projecting their inwardly, outwardly. It's no different than how we do it when we want to be extremely clear. We don't want anything to be misunderstood. So we use the right words. We try to present the right energy. We try to put some empathy behind the words. The whole 9 yards, everything that goes into communication. And a lot of these people don't realize that you're projecting your vibration that you're constantly in the same way they are. So if you're moving in a more righteous light, and you're not doing things or conversating with them with ill intentions, then you have to stand solid and reiterate whatever it is you was trying to reiterate. I know a lot of people, some people will be like, fuck it, sometimes I just give up and I stop. Yeah, you gotta weigh your options. You gotta weigh them out, because everything doesn't always weigh the same. So I wouldn't tell you, hey, just stop, and then it's somebody that you really gotta engage with and figure something out. But if it's something that you don't really have to figure out, it's not that serious. It could be just something that you want to know. So something that you want to know that doesn't really affect you in your life is like John talking to you about Sally new shoes. That you don't really care about that. That doesn't really affect your life, especially if they're not in your proximity. So that would be one of those things that you can just kind of skate past, skip over, avoid, But when you actually engaging with these people, and for a lot of us, like when we have these weird spaces and spells, it's like the people we're engaging with, we care about them. So that's the only reason why we perceive things a certain way on the inside, is because we do care. I know a lot of us run around saying like, oh, I don't care, I don't give a fuck. Me, I grew up on that statement, it is what it is. And it still is what it is to a certain degree, but I know that I have to be more wiser and more knowledgeable. Somebody has to lead. Somebody has to be the stronger one. Somebody has to take the stand. So you don't know how to take a stand if you don't understand the 2 playbooks. It's only 2 playbooks. And if you don't understand that that's their intentions. It's too much information out here for people to just be communicating on a shitty level and then you not understanding that they're doing this on purpose. It's tensional. It's tensional. That's why they continuously do it. So what I had to do with some people, and what you will have to do with some people who you're not that involved with, you are going to have to remove, cut off, block, shut down, minimize communication or time you spend with these beings. If you the one that's moving in the righteous light out of your peers and your friends, that means you have the authority and the power in your proximity. So when you start giving in to your friends' needs and wants and all these things that they want to do, you gotta understand, like, you neglecting the Creator. You ain't gonna move up in the spiritual rankings. You ain't gonna get to reap the rewards that you want. You could spend your whole life fighting for something, but if every time a test is brought in front of you and you sit down or you go run in the corner or you curl up like a baby, you won't pass that test. It'll be given to you over and over and over and over again until you understand, till you comprehend. You know, we are in a spiritual, this physical realm is our living space. It's a war territory. You know, it's a huge mixture of energy and motion that we should be aware of at all times. So when people are avoiding certain questions, certain statements, don't duck around it. You re-ask or you reiterate. If they don't matter, then fuck them. You don't have to, you know, because they not moving in the same light you moving in anyway. So I wouldn't put too much emphasis or energy behind it because it's not worth it. You know, I'm not gonna give a fish. I'm not gonna go feed a fish like they eat like fish food. No, I'm not even gonna try to think of the name. I'm not gonna give them a numerous amount of fish food. You know, we know fishes will overindulge. If you ever had a goldfish and you put too much food in the tank, usually they're gonna be moved on to their next journey in a couple days because they are going to continuously eat, which is why it's in small portions, you know. But just be mindful, like, these people who out here communicating on this shitty ass level, I don't care if they 15, 16, 25, 26, 37, 38, 50 to 80. When I was 10 years old, we didn't have cell phones. And I got put on the Greyhound from New York City all the way down to Virginia. No cell phone. My mom didn't want to come get me. My dad didn't want to drive me down. So they like just throw them on the bus, tell them don't get off on any stops. So when I look at people who are 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, when I look at these beings now, I know how not stupid and not retarded I was when I was younger. So I don't look at them people or those beings, entities, as if they're retarded. I feel as though they should know better. You know, I teach my daughter and talk to her on the highest level possible. In each chapter, you know, I figure out a new way to up it for her. But be mindful, they doing this on purpose. You know, it's all tensional. You will experience a lot of it from the job, from your home, friends, family, to just places you congregate out to, you know. It's a part of life because that demonic playbook is heavy out here right now, you know. But I ain't want to run it up too long. I do appreciate all the love and support from everybody that's been following, that's been rocking, that's been distributing, that's just been showing a lot of love, life, and energy. I've been having a bunch of obstacles outside of here that's been happening, which is why I kind of minimized how much knowledge I was putting out here and spending time in front of this camera, because I had to focus my energy in other spaces to take out a couple other obstacles so that way I can be more clear in giving this knowledge and information. You know, when you fight in spiritual battles, it does require a lot of energy. And then once you manage a certain part of it, it's like you can kind of feel your body, your spirit get exhausted. So it's hard to put new or refreshed or recharge energy into something that you really want to do or love doing when you just had to disperse all this energy into protecting yourself. You know what I mean? But we about to get back to it. We've been knocking out a bunch of things behind the scenes as far as personal life. You know what I mean? So we about to get back to having them daily. I know it kind of got me spread out to every 2, 3 days, 4 days. I don't do it for the bag. I do it because this is what I love to do. So I make sure that I'm in the best spirits and energies. And even if I'm not, I make sure that I have access to it. I don't always have access to it because some days I'll be so frustrated. Not all day, but when it's time for me to give this energy, I'll be a little bit, because of all these other battles and obstacles I'm fighting and facing. You know what I mean? But that's all part of the cause. It comes with the territory. You know what I mean? Tapping everything down below. Peace and love to the kings and queens.